Yeah, well, I made it. Made it to the ridge. Beautiful sunny day and a Sunday, and tonight I'm going to meet hopefully Junie Barker and Roy and some of their mob and get together. It'll be nice to do that, because that's what I come here for. There's my beautiful sister Junie Barker. I come halfway around the world to see you and this fella.
Yeah, I never forgot you both when I first met you.
Yeah.
And I must remember Pauline too, Francis.
Yes, darling, I was going to talk to you about poor old Pauline.
Yeah.
I felt so sorry about that.
Yeah, it was sad. Yeah.
And there's no whites in my family for 150 years or more. Both my parents on both sides were half Aboriginal, and my grandparents were. And but we were all then bred from the full-blood tribal women. I don't know what the ratio was to non-Aboriginal women in our part of the country, but we believed that it was inevitable for there to be a mixed breed. And so my great-grandfather was an Irishman by the name of Jimmy Ellis, who took himself a tribal woman back before the turn of the last centuries. I just don't know when. And on my mum's side, my great-grandfather was a guy by the name of Englishman by the name of Jim Whiten.
We always tell them, it doesn't matter what your skin colour is, your eye colour, your hair colour. We still descend from the first people that was in this land. And not a lot of people.
And we've got granddaughters, our biological daughters even. They're as white as any.
Very fair skin.
Yeah. And you don't know they've got Aboriginal blood in them. But with some other breed, you know, whatever, Asian or
It'll come through the eyes and that.
It comes out, but not with Aborigines. So, you know, we don't know why that is. And,
Judy, when we first met up, we met when Pauline was there, wasn't
Pauline
she?
McLeod,
Where was that?
At Macquarie University.
Yeah, that's right. We all got up and told stories.
Told
we
our
told a
stories.
story. And we got together, and I always remember this, that we said, Pauline said, and you said to me, we should support one another because we're the three...
Storytellers of this state.
Of this state, New South Wales. There was Pauline McLeod, you, of course, and myself. And I always remember that. Yeah.
You had the same heritage as me from Cumragunja.
Yes.
Through the Yorta Yorta.
Through the Yorta Yorta. Well, we're both the same clan.
Clans
you and I,
down
aren't
there,
we? Yeah. So I remember that, and that gave me a bit more strength, you know, and I thought, well, I got support of my people, you know.
Yeah, well, I knew that I had to support you because we were sort of, you know, on our own.
Yeah, and at them times it's still tough, but it's getting better, I think.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right, yeah. You know.
Well, I love you heaps because you're my sister.
That's right, yeah. And, yeah, no, that's how I look on it, Jane, that we both, you know, we Yorta Yorta from our clan there of our people way back. Yeah. So, we used to talk about you all the time when you were away. We always say, wonder what that old fella's doing over there.
I always sent you stuff.
I know, yeah, we'd go through it and we'd, look at him here. And we more or less saw the dying embers of our culture, you know, the languages die away. Because people speak in the language.
I can remember you saying when they brought the full-bloods in from the desert, you fellas after the mission fella had left, they used to tell you stories and stuff?
Oh, we heard all the old stories.
All the old stories.
From the old women, mainly the old aunties.
Yes,
they were the old storytellers.
Yeah.
And the men would be the old teachers of the artefacts.
Yes.
And the tribal life.
Because mainly the women were storytellers.
They were,
They passed it on. And the men taught the hunting skills.
That's right.
That's true,
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, no, we were...
Yeah. Well, my dad was an old hunter and trapper, and he could smell down a warren. He smelled the milky dough, and he said, "You can't set it." I said, "How do you know that, Dad?" He said, "You can smell the milky dough down there. I don't want to catch kittens. No good to me kittens."
See, the men then trekked further afield for the heavier meat, for the kangaroos and emus and whatever. When they came back, they trekked several miles, out and back again, so the women done all the, most of the cooking. And so when the early whites saw this there, they branded Aboriginal men as layabouts and no good and lazy,
lazy
and whatever.
budgers.
But it never applied like that.
No, they didn't understand.
They didn't understand. Yeah.
Just misunderstanding.
Yeah, it's a misunderstanding, yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah,
right.
we believe so. And,
Do you still go out and
a
hunt
special, yeah, at times we, you know, if we see a porcupine or something like that, we'll get him and cook him up and
half boil him and then bake him?
that's
Yeah,
right,
that's the
half boil him and
Take
bake him
those
up.
two
and-
balls
Yeah.
out in his belly.
Yeah,
Right,
they,
yeah, you take the glands out.
You take the glands out, yeah.
That's
you
that's
don't
where the
taste
ant,
it.
No,
ant,
well,
ant
yeah.
And
taste.
taste is, yeah.
But
Yeah, I've been with fellas doing that,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
like porcupine.
that's
they
right.
taste.
And,
Pigabilla.
well, I think you can eat nearly anything in the Australian bush.
Yeah,
You know,
can.
that's what our people done, and
Yeah.
but they respected those animals.
Well, we only
and
kill when we need
that's
to,
right,
that I know
You
of.
see, when we were kids there and growing up on that mission there, if we found an emu's nest there with 10 eggs in, we weren't allowed to take all those eggs.
No,
There had to be
no, you
at
had
least
to-
3, you know, had to stay there for further
Hatches.
production, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
all
we
that
took
sort of-
only what we needed, and
Mm.
we were intelligent enough not to take more because we wouldn't have had any breeding
Yeah.
stock left. Same with the fish.
Mm.
We used to only take some.
Right.
We'd move on to another place and give that
Yeah.
a chance.
Mm.
And that was a sensible way to live.
It was, and our people had a form of agriculture which was completely ignored by the early whites. Say, for instance, even now in this part of the country, if you burn vast tracts of land, that's the dry grass and whatever, what happens? The heat from the fires brings the moisture up from the topsoil,
Yeah.
and in turn you'll get a green pick right over the landscape, and this brought the wildlife back into those
Of course,
areas.
you bring the roos back to
Yeah,
feed
and so
stuff.
this was a form of agriculture, whatever these
I'll
guys-
see what. Shall I come with you?
And you stay with Roy.
Okay. Oh
and,
yeah, of course.
Francis
of
to
course.
show you what
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
got.
All right.
Yeah.
So don't worry about the bread. I'll
No,
just have
I'll just get a chicken. We just work
Yeah.
out what we're going to have for
Whatever.
lunch.
Yeah, whatever.
While you're looking about, I'll just duck down.
Okay, then.
Because time gets away.
Yeah, it does.
That's really put. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Take a shot of all your boomerang preparations here
Yeah.
from the. Get a naturally curved piece and cut him out. And
Yes. By the time you whittle it down with a tomahawk, you'd only get one boomerang. But in my case today, I probably get a half a dozen. Yeah. See?
That's the good thing about the white man's gear, brother.
That's it. That's it. So you can see the difference in these two boomerangs. One's a more sharper bend, if you like. One's a more sloping bend. And the difference was the more bend there was in your boomerang, on its return it would spin quicker. And the more sloping ones, once it was thrown, it would be slower. So what I'll do, I'll put the aerodynamics on it, and it's very important. This will be a right-hand boomerang. It's very important to have a small niche there.
Okay.
What a lot of the old Aboriginal people used to do, they used to put them down in the hot ashes and give them a twist and immerse them down into cold water, and they'd set in that position like an airplane propeller. We'll bevel on the top side there now.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll just turn him completely over. Bevel him there. When I finish them, I just put ordinary linseed oil on, and I don't put any polyurethane stuff on them in any way. What the old Aboriginal people used to do, they used to put emu fat or goanna oil on,
Yeah.
and that served the purpose. These are sinews from the tail of the kangaroo. I've got them preserved in methylated spirits, but they're very strong, as you can see, and no way in the world will you break them. And what the old people used to do, they extract the sinews out of the tails and do their work with the sinews. And what had happened, the sinews would dry and of course tighten on their work. So you had sinews that were very strong. You won't break it.
I didn't know that the Aboriginal people, that was our knot.
Oh, that was their knot. Well, as far as I know, it was,
Yeah.
Francis. But see, they were great string people,
Yeah,
and we used to play games
with string.
with the string.
Yeah, that's
you
a
know.
fact, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
And what sort of...
This is the pure Spinifex, this stuff.
yeah,
This is the pure Spinifex gum. The other stuff is tainted a bit.
the stuff the ants build?
Yeah, that sort of stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'll just show you. It's soft now. And there it is. Now it's about 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. There it is, it's set. That they never ever executed anybody in the daylight house. It was always done at night. Now when you make a fire at night and you're pushed back into the shadows of that fire, you create just a silhouette of yourself. And how these people were put down, I'm not too sure, but I think there was a couple of these thrust into the chest or the back. But you see, that was their law, Francis. You
Yes,
know?
mate, I
And this is
understand.
how it had to be. And this is just of church of quartzite stone embedded into this Spinifex gum, and it sets very hard. And you can feel the serrated edge on that. Just run your fingers across there. Look. It's a very, very good gum, and it's the only gum that we've got that you can recycle it over and over again. You can preheat it, and you can use it all the time. Of course, they want to use for fish up to 2 to 3 kilogram weight, or 2 3 pound weight. And you had, the moment if that went into a fish of that size, you could never retrieve it in any way. But what happened, they put 2 more there, Francis, which acted as a tension. And the moment that goes into a fish of that weight, you can pull them out quite easy. Yeah. No problem. And for the bigger fish, say the 20 and 30 and 50 and 60 pound freshwater cods, we used to have nets. Set the nets up and hunt them into the nets and lift the nets that way. You can see my ardoo seeds, which made their flour, and their damper bread, which had very good vitamins in. And we got them from the Sydney Museum. They handed them back to us, and of course we were grateful for them. And if you pick a stone up like this, you can say that this has been done by those ancient people. Just the ordinary red dirt to an adobe brick-like thing from centuries of fire making. And so you'll see camp ovens, like ovens, stone ovens, still in existence in the bush country. There was no caves in my part of the country, that's why we've got no evidence today of paintings that were left. I know that they used to use a lot of this sort of paint on their bark paintings and their bodies and whatever. They used to mix gum with it. Tree gum, which once they mixed it, this give it its sticky substance so that it stick on their bodies or their bark paintings. There's an Aboriginal word for this particular piece of mineral or ochre or whatever you like to call it. We call it kopai or dora. And the moment then you throw this in the fire and it crystallises and you break it up and use it on a stone then, or break it up and put your mixture with it, your water or whatever, your gum, you'll get your white paint like this one. See? There. This is a volcanic nut, and how we know this, we've got evidence of sulphur here. And the moment they're cracked open, we know where there's heaps of them when you crack them. This is one that's been emptied out. But you get another a type of ochre in there. And down here, of course, in the bush country, you'll see evidence of these scarred trees. And there's only a certain time of the year that you can get this particular bark off. This particular tree was knocked over by a bulldozer, and it's not a very good canoe tree. And as you probably well know, that the best of our bark canoes come from the big river gums from the river country. And what our people done, they've walked along and picked this stone up and said, this'll do. I don't know how long it would have taken them to sharpen them up on the sandstone water, but it must have taken them quite a while. And of course they were bound then with sinews from the tail of the kangaroo. I put this head in here about 10 years ago or more. And spinifex gum here. They never cut any big trees or forests down with them. All they were used for was their bark dishes, their bark coffins, their bark cradles and canoes. This particular stick, Francis, this is a bundi.
Bundi? Yeah.
This is a bundi, a very, very vicious weapon thrown at short range.
Yeah. You could throw your bundi on it.
That's, oh yeah, no, the nulla nulla you couldn't throw, see?
No, that was a bigger fella.
That was a bigger fella.
Not a
I got one there for you.
Okay.
But with this one here, you got very accurate with it. Wouldn't throw directly at him like that.
You throw in front
You'd
of him.
anticipate his movement and throw in front of him.
Yeah.
By the time this stick got there, or the animal got there, this stick would be there.
Reaching.
And you'd get him nearly every time.
Yeah.
And for lots of freshwater turtles from the river country where they were nesting out on the bank, we'd run along and hit these sticks together and out they'd come, see?
Yeah.
And run towards the edge of the water. And you'd get them before they got there.
Yeah.
And for large lots of it, once it left your hand, Francis, it'd spin very quick.
Yeah.
And for large lots of cockatoos and galahs, they were easy. The hardest part was getting your bird, the one bird, and you wouldn't kill it outright. Sometimes you'd kill him and hit him and knock him and you'd be good to you, see?
Yeah.
The moment you wounded him, you were in business.
Yeah.
See? And so what you'd do then with him, you'd pin him on his back. See?
Yeah.
Or 2 small forked sticks,
Yeah.
pin him on and give him a nudge and he'd start squawking. See?
Yeah.
The moment he starts squawking, all his other mates would hover over him.
Yes.
Might be 100 birds or more.
And they
see?
come back.
So if there was 4 or 5 people around with 2 or 3 of these sticks each, and he shot it into that flock of galahs or cockatoos,
knocked
15,
down.
20 every time,
Yeah.
you'd see feathers flying everywhere.
Yeah.
And you get sick of eating cockatoos and galahs.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Oh, it was a beautiful weapon. And but as I said, only for that weapon we would have starved
Yes.
on that Bree mission.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But
And this is going back in your time.
This is going back in
You
my
used
time.
to chuck
we
these
used,
in?
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were taught by the old people. If anyone, any kids, you were allowed to go into their workshop. The workshop I'm talking about was a wood heap.
Yeah.
And they'd be, you know, there'd be 4 or 5 old people sitting around there. And if you were standing around there, they'd call you in there and, you know, do this, do that. But if there's any unscrupulous kids there, we had an old uncle there, an old fellow. He used to always carry a steel tomahawk in his belt after they must have been introduced. And any kids that played up there, what he'd do, he'd grab a big nulla nulla and walk straight up to him. And he'd place the nulla nulla right on his forehead, like that, and he'd push him back, like that. Now, if you don't toe the line, you're going to get this. See? Now, if that kid ran home and started crying to his parents, the parents would come back and there'd be what they call a big hurrah there, big fight.
Yes.
See? And then I'd see the women get into it with the yam sticks and that. And I'd
Yeah.
see some of them there then with broken collarbones
Yeah.
and arms and whatever.
Yeah.
And so that kid then, rather then get his parents into trouble again, if he poked around there another week or so after, they'd call him in there and tell him, now you sit down there and toe the line and behave yourself, or you can learn how to make these things or whatever. And he'd do so, you know. And what we had to do then, say if there was a couple of emus come into the camp there, and they cooked these emus, and they cut them up sort of, a special way, and we had to take them, the meat, up to these people that had the fight, who had the broken arm or collarbone.
Yeah.
That was their style of doing things.
Yeah.
So we, uncle, he's the meat from them old fellas down there. Right, thank you, son. And so, you know, they used to sort of bind the ties like that somehow, you know, things like that, see.
Yeah, our people did that.
Yeah.
They'd have a scrap and get into a really heavy fight, but
Oh,
then
yeah.
later when they got to know one another.
They'd be good friends there next day.
Yes.
You know,
yes,
sort of
yeah,
business.
Yeah.
And so that kid
hold
then,
grudges.
if he was 10 or 11 years of age, he'd toe the line. You had one and I had one, we went out there and settled our differences.
Yes, that's
Which
right, I knew
see,
that.
Previous to European contact, Francis, our people knew nothing about the art of fisticuffs.
No, but they used to do it with the
This
fighting
is
stick.
But
do
the
you
art
call
of
this
rules.
fella? What do you call
This
it?
is a
Fighting
wagoner or a battle axe, hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah,
see?
yeah, fighting stick. Yeah.
Fighting stick.
Yeah.
So, with a weapon then, we used to witness a lot of blues there. With a weapon of that calibre being launched at you, see,
Jeez,
it'd be nearly impossible for me to protect myself in this position,
Yeah,
see?
you've got to be quick.
Yeah, but they had another method. See, what happened, as I remember, they used to drop on one knee. See?
Yeah.
Like this. Drop on one knee, as quick as lightning, crouch behind the shield, and roll and tumble away as these weapons were thrown at them.
Okay.
So they were a very elusive target to hit,
Yes.
hence the smallness or
Yes.
the madness in the design of the very small parrying shield.
Yeah.
Unlike a lot of other tribal groups, say the New Guinea people and the Zulus in
They're
Africa,
big,
had great big shields, bigger than
Yeah,
themselves.
Yeah.
But our people had this very small parrying shield, and that was the stance they had. They'd
Yeah.
crouch behind it. Of course, they'd have to be very fit people to do it. But
And
they were,
also
you know,
quick to
those
buy.
people in my day were fit there too.
Oh,
Like they'd
of
drop
course.
down on one knee. And
Yeah.
in our part of the country, we've got 3 types of wattle trees that grow. We've got the grey wattle, the black wattle, and our national emblem. So the bark from the grey wattle tree was the key to the tanning methods of these skins. You put that piece of bark over a naked flame. Now the heat from the fire would extract the sap from the bark, SAP. The moment you coated this over with the wattle bark sap 3 or 4 times, you'd get a cure in your skin, C-U-R-E. You'd get a cure in your skin which stopped the fur from falling out. You used to have goannas, emu, oil, all the oil from these guys here. The moment you coated them over then with this oil and flexed them over a log or a stump, you got a very, very good tan. But the early English done it another way. What they done, they boiled the bark in their big boilers and immersed their bullock hides and the sheepskins in this way. And these guys got a very, very good tan, and believe it or not, that ancient tanning recipe was used in our modern tanning factories out in this part of the country until recent times, until they got better methods of tanning skins. So it was nothing new for our people to tan skins. This one was used 100 miles away in the sandy country, and the difference was that these were used for a sort of a shovel in the sandy country where you could, you know, unearth your porcupines or yams or whatever. But in our part of the country, it was held in that position with your thumb and your index finger, your 2 middle fingers cradle the shaft of the spear, and your small finger control it like a billiard cue. So you had more power then launching it from the launching pad, and you can see the difference in these 2 particular spears, Francis. One's The hunting spears are double barb.
Yeah.
And the fighting spears are single barb. And the difference was that it was easier to bring a man down than it was an animal. So it proved beyond doubt that an animal was much tougher than a man. And people say to me, was there a lot of fights among the tribal Aborigines? Of course there was. Living in such a harsh environment where you could rain here today and 100 miles over the track you don't get any rain for months on end. And you got a lot of poaching on these lands. And this led to a lot of disputes. And of course we can't do this in our modern society today. I can't trespass on your private property unless you give me permission. And this applied to our ancient Aboriginal people, believe it or not. And these particular spears were deliberately bent for their accuracy. And I think our people knew something of ballistics long before guns were ever thought of. And if you don't have this particular bend in this spear, you don't get your accuracy. And we proved this with a little bit of straight conduit launched from the launching pad, and it'll go anywhere at all. But the moment you put a slight bend in it, you'll get your accuracy. But all told, in our arsenal of weapons, we had around about a dozen pieces. The stolen generation you hear so much about, well, part Aborigines, and the idea was assimilation, but you see it never worked out. These people are from my part of the country. It's my mother, Evelyn White, and she was. That's my sister there, one of my sisters, eldest sister, taken in 1936. And yeah, Jim Barker. And that's the little tiny school we went to there. Look. Of course, this was the big house. That's where the manager lived, the mission manager. We come under a board of control, the Aborigines Protection Board, which had full control over Aboriginal people. And they were sent to different areas, the metropolitan areas in Sydney, and wherever, and the big pastoral properties that sprung up all over the country here. And but they never touched the full-blood Aborigines. And you know why they didn't touch them? They were already a dying race, so they didn't worry about them. Beds that were issued to us, the government beds, but they were made in the jails, in Long Bay and Bathurst jails. And and these were the blankets that were issued to us. They were government blankets, and it was softer to camp on the ground than one of these. But after the land was taken from our people in those areas, and indeed everywhere, our people had nowhere to forage for food. And so the government stepped in, the government of the day stepped in, and they decided to have rations. We got issued with 8 pounds of flour, 3 pounds of sugar, and 1/4 pound of tea. And this had to do a family for a week, and we had to subsidise then for other means of living. And we know that the introduced animals then were much easier to come by than the native animals.
Yeah.
And you know, your sheep and cattle and goats and pigs and whatever were in thousands in these areas. And so we know that when a horse is laying down, he gets up with his front legs first.
First, yeah.
See? And the hind legs last. But with cattle, it's the other way around.
Opposite way. Yeah.
See? The back legs come up first, and the front ones come up last. So what we used to do, I'd done it myself when I was very young, 14 or 15 years of age with the other guys, because they were very smart guys. They'd get them in that position and run in with a sharp steel tomahawk and hit them on the hamstring here. Once you broke that hamstring with the tomahawk, you had good beef.
Yeah.
But if you were caught, you were gone.
You were in big shit.
you were gone, but of course the moment they'd hit the other hamstring, you had him completely immobilised. You'd have good beef. But this is how we lived. And A guy said to me one day, he said, "You know why the Aboriginal people were nomads and roamed over the land?" I said, "No, I got an idea." Well, he said, "You know what happened?" He said, "They left big piles of excreta wherever they were camped." He said, "And they had to move on, otherwise they'd be slipping over it." "No," I said, "you got it wrong." I said, "The toilet system consisted of this, and it still exists in all our areas today, that the moment you go behind a tree, even now, just outside here, we've got what they call, we call them the undertakers, the local undertakers, that's the native dung beetle, which comes over this excreta, and in 10 to 12, 15 hours, that excreta is covered completely over by these native dung beetles. And this was their toilet system. But my point is this, that our people were forced onto these areas from their tribal country and made to dig pit toilets, which our people knew nothing about. And of course there was flies in millions which gathered and caused gastroenteritis among the infants,
Sure.
hepatitis A, B, C or whatever, and no movement with our people. They become lousy and body lice and malnutrition, and this served in one way. It wasn't the whole of the thing that done away with a lot of tribal Aborigines. It was one element, and it was a vicious one. But the main one in our belief, in our part of the country, was poison flower, bullets and pure neglect were the three main things that done away
Not
with
to
our
say
tribal
that, yeah.
Aboriginals. Yeah.
And blankets from the sick bays on the boats when they first landed that contained
Well,
smallpox.
this was it, you see, and clothes was never worn by our people, and it caused irritation and whatever else,
Yes.
you know.
So we picked up colds and influenza and shit that we never had
That's
before.
right, yeah, yeah,
Venereal disease, which we didn't have.
true, yeah. That's me taking, next birthday I'll be 78, next March. So that's, I'd be about 3 years old there, I suppose, 4 years, so that's taken 75 years ago. Another brother there, another guy there. And all these people except two people, three of us. One, where's this lady? Here, and another one there, I think, at the back there, is still going. Professor Tyndale and Professor Elkin and those guys, and they used to come there and get all the different castes of our people, and we'd have to sit on a form and or a seat and sort ourselves out from the blackest to the first, and recorded with calipers, whatever, on our lips and the colour of our eyes and whatever. So this was all recorded by those early people, and we were cut up into all those different groups. But it seemed then, as I said previous, that anybody that possessed one drop of Aboriginal blood in them, and they were classed as Aborigines. So it's as simple as that.
And I said, my dad was taken off his people and stuff, but I didn't go too heavy, because I said, well, you know, people make mistakes, but let's hope we learn the lessons
That's right.
from the past, so we
Exactly.
don't make that mistake with Aboriginal people or anybody.
That's right.
But Jermaine Greer got up there, and when she met me, she said, give me your hands, brother. And I gave her my hands, and she's a warm person. And
Yeah.
she said, it's a pleasure to meet you,
Yes,
Francis. And
yeah.
I thought, oh, well, she's a nice woman.
Yeah.
And then she got up on stage for about 30 minutes talking. And by the Jesus, she roasted the white Australians. Oh, she said even the lowest class white man in Australia, if he's lying in the gutter and he's peed his pants, and you lift him up and say, brother, do you think that you're better than an Aboriginal? He would say, everybody's better than an Aboriginal. And I have to agree with that.
Yes.
It's still that mentality that
Yeah.
exists, doesn't it?
It does. Yes, it does still exist. And back in my day, at the town of Brewarren and all the river towns, you had an element of people who were very biased and racist towards Aboriginal people. But on the other hand, there were some good non-Aboriginal people in our communities
Yes, of course.
who protected a lot of the Aborigines from that harsher element of
Yes.
people, and we can't
Put them all in the same.
no, we
No.
can't, and we've got families there, non-Aboriginal families still around Brewarren today who are great people, you know, and who are very
Yes.
good towards Aboriginal people.
Yes.
But as I said, there was an element of people in all our towns that caused all this trouble in the very beginning. And,
Yes.
I see, when you live out here in these little towns,
mm,
you know who's who,
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
and we
you do.
still know who's who today.
yeah,
Yes.
oh yeah.
And we know where we can go and
Mm,
where we,
yeah.
we keep
And
our
you know
place.
the
We
people-
know our place.
It's like this, Francis. There's Aboriginal people in our communities today we wouldn't even have in our backyard.
No. I
That's
understand
like a
that.
lot of the whites
Yes,
one-
of course.
put up with people,
No.
And our
unscrupulous
white
people.
fellas in there.
And this happened back before European contact. If there's any unscrupulous people around, they'd soon cull those guys out and bush them out of it.
Yeah, they tell them to leave the
They-
camp.
this is how it was, and you know.
Tolerate it.
Yeah, and I remember when I was a boy growing up there on that Bree mission, if there was an unscrupulous child, they'd put him through a smoke. They'd hold him in the smoke. In my day, they had fire buckets,
Yeah.
and they'd hold him down in the smoke until he nearly choked and
Yeah.
threw him out on the ground,
Yes.
and which was a harsh thing, I guess, you know, from the point of view of a lot of people. But then an older kid, he got a boot in the backside,
Yes.
right? And if he was too old to do anything, 13 or 14-year-olds, they'd put them on the knuckle.
Yes.
Simple as that. And once they grew up then to young men, and they were the same sort of people, they'd put the nulla nulla or the bundi on.
Oh yes, I would.
And you know, they'd
didn't
wail
mess
on that
about with
way.
them.
Oh no, they didn't.
Because you can't, it's not acceptable.
No, that's right. And as I said previous, the laws that were set down then by those people were much stricter than the laws we've got to abide by today. And for crimes committed against the system, premeditated murder, those horrendous crimes, those people were history. They were no more.
No,
They were
they'd
put
kill them.
down.
They'd
Yeah.
kill them.
And
And if they run, they do the bone.
well, this
Stuff
was
on
it,
them.
and that was their law.
Yes,
It
of
was
course.
as simple as that, and that's why.
Well, they had to do it. We had no police force. We had,
No.
and you had to have respect for
You-
one
you
another.
did.
That's
And,
what I tell them now. You know.
Well, both June and I were found by our old Aboriginal midwives. That's a word that we learnt very early in the piece, not delivered
Yeah.
by these women. We were found. See, this
We
was
weren't born in a hospital.
no, and
I was found on Cumbergun.
and I was
Yeah.
found
By
on the
my
Bree
mother.
mission,
Ah, see?
and we had to.
Yeah, they call
They
it
were clever.
found.
They're found, yeah.
yeah, we were found.
They were clever
See?
old women. They were midwives.
And we
Bible
had,
way.
they were just as important to us as our biological mothers, because we had to respect those people, and because they used to tell us, our parents used to tell us that they were the first people to hold them, hold us
in this world, see?
when we were
In this
born.
world, of
Yeah.
course, they would be.
And so, you know,
Especially-
they were the people who cleaned us and touched us before our biological mothers.
Yeah.
So we had to call them our aunties or
Mother.
mother
Or mothers
or whatever,
Mothers,
and they'd
yeah.
call us son
Yeah,
in return.
yeah, in
So,
return,
you
so-
know, so this is...
And Aboriginal people always had more than one mother and father,
Yeah.
because I
That's
saw
right.
my father's
Well,
brother's
well,
father.
well,
Yeah.
we believe this is how
And
things come
aunties.
about.
Yes,
There was no signs of coronary heart trouble among the Botany Bay people at the time of Cook's Landing there.
They were all in the
And
good condition.
yeah, they were, and you know, dental tooth decay, whatever. They were very strong, healthy people, and we know then, I don't know, this is according to some of the people in authority, that the changeover from traditional foods to flour, tea and sugar was devastating to our people.
Because we weren't used to that.
No.
And brought in
And,
diabetes and that, you know.
yeah,
It's in the genes
and,
today.
Yeah, it's in the genes today, and how we breed it out, we don't know. It's a problem. And our average lifespan of our people today is 48 to 50 years, which is scandalous. People who brought great herds of stock down through the great stock routes of this land, without a fence to guide them, were Aboriginal people. And we've yet to get some recognition of this. There was a opening of the Stockman's Hall of Fame some years ago in central Queensland.
Charleville, huh?
And Longreach.
Longreach,
And we went up there and we struck this Mr. Williams. He's a hat and boot tycoon guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And we saw nothing of our Aboriginal pioneers or stockmen or whatever. And I said to him, Mr. Williams, you haven't got any, I said, you've got a plaque here of the Afghan camel drivers and those sort of people, but you've got nothing of our Aboriginal stockmen and people like that. Oh, he said, we're about,
It's
you know,
coming,
we don't
it'll
know,
be
it'll come.
Don't know
But
whether
we
it
believe
is.
that it should have been there at the opening
Yes, I
of
believe it
the
too.
Stockman's Hall of Fame. Things
Of
like
course.
that, you know, and yeah, that doesn't seem to be right. And,
No, of course not.
but eventually, we know that things, from a violent past, Francis, we know that good things could come about. We know this.
Yes, well, they will eventually, brother.
they will.
If we can teach the younger people.
That's right, and
Yeah.
yeah, and that's how it is, and
Well, the
it's
interest in
very
Aboriginal
important
things
that
over there.
we've got to live together,
Yeah.
both black and white, and we share everything, you know, a common thing, that a common good, if you like. That's our belief. And,
Oh, Roy, you're a good man, brother.
there's your battle axe there, mate.
Yeah,
And this little fella here, look, I never explained this fella to you, but he's what we call a little. He's a throwing stick, this fella. And you had to be very careful of this fella because there'd be a decoy go up, see, up like that, and there'd be another one come underneath.
Okay.
So you had to be very wary of a stick like this.
Yes.
And a very vicious little weapon thrown at short range, it'd bloody spin like bugger, you know?
Yeah.
But that's a little, and June might make some a brochure up for you after. But that's a chisel there, look.
Oh,
That's a bit
look
of
at
that church-side, quartzite, church stone it is.
Good stuff.
And you can feel the edge of it. You touch it.
Oh, yeah, my Roy, you could show it.
Yeah. And here's another little one here, look. This is a little hand.
See, I can show these kids and that when I'm doing shows.
This is a little hand one with that spinnerface going on it. I think one of the boys just put that design on it there. It's just a little hand one. A lot of the women used to use them to cut the umbilical cords. and whatever,
yeah,
see?
of course, and different things.
They used to
yeah.
have a little bag there. They'd have them small stones.
Carrying that in there, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Roy, they're all
So-
very special to me, brother.
These are
Oh,
couple of
music
big
sticks.
sticks.
Yes.
and this is for the lady. This one here. This is a bark dish.
Yeah, a Coolaman.
A coolerman and a dig stick.
Look at that. And a digging
And
stick.
a dig stick, see?
Yeah.
And now I want you to take, this is a special boomerang. This is a gidgee.
Gidgee. I used to cut gidgee. I used to
Gidgee,
ring bark
Yeah.
gidgee.
Now he's, look at the grain.
love
Look
that.
at the grain in that thing.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, that's a beautiful boomerang. That's gidgee.
That's gidgee.
Yeah, that brings back memories. I was cutting gidgee around St George.
Right, yeah, it's all gidgee country all through there, all out this way.
Geez, that brings back
Now I want
memories.
you to
love
take
it.
this one here too, look.
Oh, geez.
This is stone axe. That's yours.
Oh, Roy.
That's a green stone. Now,
Where
as
did you get that from?
well, I go out into the bush country,
Yeah.
and I pick them up. I've got heaps of them there, and see, as I just said, these stone axes were nearly finished, by nature finished them.
Yeah.
And all they done was just sharpen them. Well, I sharpen these up myself.
Yes, of course.
And so
Put a bit of an edge
everything's
on 'em.
traditional on that.
Yeah.
Your sinews,
Kangaroo, the sinew from the
and
tail.
your spinifex gum. And I got a little bit more here to
Yeah.
stop it from splitting.
Yeah.
And
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
See,
it
I'll
is.
just use it for showing.
Yeah.
But I'll treasure that.
Oh,
brother.
no, it's
Well, it's-
yes. This one back here.
I think it is a
This
wild
is
orange.
wild
yeah.
orange, yeah.
Eddie, we call him a bumble.
We call him a bumble, and I'll just grab
And the
it.
next one then is a currant bush.
Yeah.
The bumble down the other, Bullumbar. Yeah,
What's Bullumbar?
I'll just show you. It's a native. This is part of the bush foods and things Aborigines used to have.
Oh, wonderful.
And it's a medicine thing too. See, it's a milk plant.
Yeah. It's beautiful. You boil it up and you have your meat with it, cooked meat, cold meat, and this is your wild orange one here.
It's a native celery. This is only a small one. You peel all this
Yeah, you
the
peel
skin
it all
off.
off there. And
You peel the skin off it like
just
that.
have a taste of it.
And
It
It's
tastes
a little
lovely.
bit,
It's a bit,
bit of salt on it, it's good.
and what was, oh yeah, that was break
Here's the
some-
wild orange.
but
See,
the leaf is bitter like an orange. Native grown
native
stuff.
grown fruit and nuts and whatever. You take the macadamia nut, it's a native nut, and it's a beautiful tasting nut.
But yeah, bush food's a big thing now.
Yeah, bush food.
They're bringing it all back. All this, you know,
Yeah,
green doors, and they'll take you to wherever you.
Oh, it's an art gallery.
Yeah, they used to have these. But all this, they're all working underneath the ground. See, way down underneath.
3 more.
Yeah, 3 more. People crossing, you know,
It's a pretty rough old road. That's not anything, Francis.
Yeah, mate, she's a bit rough.
This is a coolabah tree. The bark dishes or the bark cradles or canoes or whatever off, and that's between the months of June, August, September. And in the hot summer months, it's virtually impossible to get the bark off. The coolabah's not coming off so good. I use a chainsaw these days, and it makes it easier. So what we'll do, if we go,
Pardon the bite. I'll
right
open him
now,
up.
you just open him up. Pull them off quite easy. So
Comes off real easy, doesn't it?
there it is.
Wow.
There's your bark dish. So what I'll do, I'll cut another one, and you can take one. I'll do one up for you. I'll just try this one. See, our people on the river country, unlike the northern people, with their bark or their dugouts, they squeezed the ends together and tied them. But see, our people never done that. What happened, once you got your bark canoe off like that and let it on the ground, so you had 12 or 15 of these big spreaders in the bark canoes, and this is what I got to do to this Coolaman now. And what happens the moment you put them on 2 big logs like this, the middle part of the bark sinks to the ground. And this
Okay.
cocks your stern and your bow up.
Out of the water.
Yeah. Well, they're made to go in the water then outside, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
If this wasn't satisfactory, they'd dig a hole here and they'd drop this bark in the middle of you further. So this would cock your bow and your stern up further.
Yeah.
And
So you didn't have to seal the front or back?
No, it was already cocked up, and you don't get big waves in our inland rivers. They used to make small fires then, under the canoe itself. Make the small fires under here to dry out, and you could see this bark then curling up onto the spreaders. Yeah. And if this wasn't satisfactory, they'd make fires inside of the canoe itself. And this is how they were. Yeah. And I cut one for the Olympics, the Sydney Olympics.
Did you?
Cut a beauty, it was about a 14-footer. So we cut it down and cured it, as the saying goes, and then freighted it down on a semi-trailer to Penrith. What they wanted there was to put an Australian bark canoe in alongside the other foreign kayaks and whatever else they had. Try this one anyway. Once you break the seal on the ones that you can get off readily, they come off quite easy.
Amazing.
That's it? Yeah. Yeah.
They look great. They look fantastic.
So there you are, that's cool. When you get home you can just trim them out a bit. It would never kill the tree, because you can see in evidence here that this tree is still alive and thriving, if you like. So yeah, that never hurt the tree really. But the moment you take that bark right around there now, if I was to take a piece of bark there, around there, knock it off, this you'll see it.
Die.
Yeah, you'll see it wither in a few days. Yeah.
This is where the Coolerman came from, here. This cut off.
Even though this tree's been
And then
cut
taken
down
away
and the
like
top
that.
part's been used for something,
These trees weren't that common down. Well, you got mainly gum and box and iron bark.
Yeah. And then you got your black box, which is another species of native tree, and then you've got your yellow box. That's the very
Yellow
common
box,
one.
yeah, my dad used to cut.
That's the
We used to get robbed bees. You cut down we'd cut down a branch if we seen us sometimes cut down a tree, and the old fellow used to get them, but they weren't our original bees.
No.
Is our original bee still around,
Yeah.
sister?
Oh
The bee,
yes, yeah.
Little black one.
But he doesn't.
Round here?
Yeah, he's in this part of the country, the native bee. Yeah. I seen one a few months back, and
Seen a nest, a hive, did you? Or
yeah,
just
no,
a-
I can pick them out. You can see the little guys around the hole, you know. And that's how you pick the bee English and Italian bees out. Too.
Look at that man starting to look a bit like old Uncle here, eh?
Bit of grey.
Got John there, Tom. That's Jane.
Hello. How are you?
Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We've got an airline pilot, have we?
Yeah, I think there is a pilot. Yeah, there's a pilot. You know, there's heaps of nurses
Yeah, heaps of nurses.
and policemen and that, you know, coming in. And our own granddaughter, as I said to her, hopefully one day now in the next couple of years, we can say Marissa's going to be the first Aboriginal nuclear medicine, because she's studying radiation like chemotherapy and x-rays and scans and that. So that's a little bit of encouragement that, you know, it's not a lot, but it is happening. And about time. Oh, there's school teachers too,
Oh yeah.
qualified
Yeah,
teachers.
there's some good teachers.
Yeah, good teachers are coming
A couple
through.
of high school
Teachers and that.
teachers.
And
A couple of principals.
oh yeah, he's there on his chest today, see?
What? Give us a look at that tattoo.
Oh, get up.
Oh, mate, that looks deadly. Oh. Wait, show me your tattoo, George. You see?
Yeah, George.
I don't want
Oh,
got one on there.
Oh, you do too, George. You're looking pretty deadly as well there, mate.
They have deadly haircuts and all too, you know, they have zigzags on the side and all that.
Oh
They're
yeah,
going away.
nice
Yeah.
that they have these guys.
Nearly seen what happened to Hiroshima and all that. And when he came home to our little town of Brewarrina, he went to join the RSL club, and they said, no, we don't have Aborigines here as members. We'll have to get permission from Melbourne, I think it was. And so he never went back near a RSL club for years and years, until about 5 years ago. They kept bringing up the bank manager. He was interested in Roy, and kept inviting us down. So one Anzac, I said to Roy, you can't keep making excuses, we'll just go down. So when we got down there, they got Roy to carry the flag, and they got him to speak at the War Memorial there in the little park, and everyone crowded around, Aborigines. They were glad to see someone else lead the march, you know, an Aboriginal in it. And so Roy said, you know, I'm here today, not for myself, but to tell you about the 4 of our blokes from this little town who never came back. They're buried over there in New Guinea. And, yeah. So anyway, we were guests of honour that day at the RSL in Brewarrina. Oh, it's fun.
They're the animals.
Oh, that's a great one, Merv.
But gamble, because they did that as well. They did both of them.
Hey, that's brilliant.
So there's gamble, look at that. See, this is doing Lumarite. And all the kids are coming alive.
That's
Yeah, look,
great.
you're doing emu thing.
They love it. Look at them.
Oh yeah. Look at, you can tell there, see?
Great.
It's great that what you're doing there, mate.
Nindu is you. Nadu. Bumali, I hit. Nindu, you.
I'm glad we're mates then. Okay, what's the name of the platypus?
Billadurang.
Billadora.
Billadurang.
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 Okay.
Billadurang.
What about possum?
Ah.
Moodai.
He's known as Moodai in Gamilaroi. He's Moodai in Gamilaroi. I don't know what he is in Orangery.
How do you say thank
No,
you?
Gindine's the possum.
Gindine.
Gindine. What do you want?
What about, how do you say thank you?
Mandangu. Thank you. Guna is something different.
Oh, okay.
Everybody says guna. You know, guni, what do you think guni is? If people say guni, they think it's guneng. I said, guni is mother. And you know, guni throughout, they're all is the same throughout all the tribes. If you have a look at the language stuff. So, there you gurus.
What about your kookaburra and emu and kangaroo?
Kookaburra is kookaburra. Do you know why? The emu. Barandang the koala. Barandang. What's that to do with Murai? Because that's the... Isn't that the way, isn't that the noise that he makes?
Yeah.
Who had a magic stick, which he would use to make fire. The firekeeper would show people how to cook meat and other
I
foods.
forget what they... You've got the job on that to go and get...
Kangaroo.
Light up the darkness of the
Womawee,
night and
Eastern
keep
grey
away
fly,
evil spirits.
and Banda, the red
There came a
kangaroo.
time when the firekeeper was travelling along the coast. As he walked along
What do
his
they call
way,
the dingo, Merv? You did tell me, but I...
joined him.
Yugay, I think.
Now the fisherman
You
became
go.
very interested in the magic stick, which made fire.
To go in reverse and go
So the two
backwards, it's
men
Yoyung.
became friendly.
Yoyung.